Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Don't know about you, Dan. I feel like I write Dickens.
Yeah?
I feel like I'm in the middle of A Tale of Two Cities.
Okay.
Wow. That's the joke.
Oh, right, okay.
What you don't know, listeners, is I built that up more than I should have before we started recording.
I don't get it.
Do you know, two cities, Exeter City, two sides of the same coin.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, very good, yeah.
No, I don't think it
Shall
was
I laugh?
good. Please.
Okay, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, good. If you've watched these two games, listeners, like we have, you will know exactly what we mean. Saturday, turgid beyond belief. Last night, not bad.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
I'd say so, yeah.
So Saturday we were at home to Northampton Town, and they weren't the only cobblers, if you know what I'm saying.
The whole thing was cobblers.
The whole thing was absolute cobblers. Tale of two cobblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peach cobbler.
Yeah, peach cobbler all over the place, not just in the Heritage Lounge.
Yeah, lukewarm peach cobbler. Do you reckon they do that sort of thing? Do they theme the food?
Oh, do you think they played that badly because they were serving peach cobbler?
Well, the players
theme would
don't
be-
eat it, do they?
Don't know.
They don't eat the Heritage Lounge meal. They're
No, they
playing.
probably don't. They are playing. They're busy.
Yeah.
It was rubbish when it Saturday. I mean, it was rubbish.
It was. Yeah, that's sort of. That's putting it lightly, I'd say.
It's a really bad game of football.
It is the sort of match that made you never want to watch any football match ever again.
I mean, if I, kind of squinted, it would have been like watching myself play football. It was that kind of low-level standard. No one could get a foot on the ball.
I mean, it really reminded me of the conference years, definitely.
Yeah, worse, I look back at some of those old conference videos, I think, oh, quite good. It was rubbish. It was like both teams' standard was very poor. No sense of plan. No sense of we should deal with this. This isn't really working. Everyone was just driven to absolute.
Yeah.
I don't know what even the word malaise. It was a malaise around the ground.
It was a malaise, and I think in isolation, perhaps it wouldn't have been that bad, but it's just the cumulative effect of this last sort of couple of years, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I
felt like someone had injected peach cobbler into my brain.
Well, maybe they had. Spiking is rife. You know, around, so they say. So, could have happened.
Well, people are spiking into my skull, are they?
Well, you don't know what they're up to.
With stodgy dessert stuffs.
People do all sorts of weird things.
It's true, they do.
I don't know what the motive. I don't know what the motive would be.
Well, what's the motive for this kind of football game?
Well, quite, yeah. I feel like we're being spiked by Caldwell sometimes.
Yeah, quite.
With this, yeah.
So, well, is it even worth it? I mean, anyone who saw it doesn't want to relive it. We were losing.
Yeah.
And then Sonny Cox comes on. First time we've seen him in ages. Been injured. Come back.
He's been injured-ish.
Injured-ish,
It's sort of a combination, I think, of some little injuries and not quite making the cut or not quite being fancied.
Yeah.
I think he probably could have played at points and hasn't. But yeah, good that he was able to have an impact. Pat Jones, notably as well, supplying the assist for that one. Just loves a cross in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Loves a cross into the box.
He does.
And for once, there was actually someone in the box to
And
score. And then
And we could have won it. Sonny had a chance at the end, didn't he? And he just
he didn't
shoot.
He did.
Couldn't get it off his toe. Didn't want to get it off his toe.
Well, he's a left-footed player, isn't he? So he's obviously trying to cut it onto his left.
Yeah.
I think, that's a natural thing to do, but just lash it from that point, You got to try and... Those chances got to try and get him off early, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-1 felt like more than we deserved.
Well, we didn't...
they were no good either.
No, they barely deserved to win, but we definitely didn't deserve to win. So I'd say just about right. I mean, punishment for the supporters of both teams was shared in the end, and I think that's probably only right.
Yeah, I guess so. And people were really cross. Like, I know we all talk it up. I know no one's feeling this current regime much at the moment. But I was saying it's the worst game I'd seen ever.
Yeah.
Direct quote. Which, on reflection, it wasn't. But it was a bad game of football.
I was up there.
Yeah.
It was up there.
And there was some murmurings around the crowd. Disdain for the management team.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that, but I've heard worse.
Yeah.
I just think that it's hard to even motivate yourself to complain.
Well, when you're under a mountain of cobbler,
Yeah.
peach or otherwise, hard to get the words out, isn't it?
Yeah. No one can hear you.
No, you can't even hear yourself scream.
Yeah.
I had
In Cobbler, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that Star Trek or something?
I believe that's Alien.
Oh, yeah.
I then had a similar... my day continued on a downward trajectory. So I was carrying some stuff to my car. This is night time by this time. It's all dark, right? And there's a couple of couples on our street, slightly older couples who go to the football, and then I think go to the Sawyers, and then walk home a bit later on, right? And so they're just heading home, and we usually exchange the odd word about the game. And I was carrying an armful of stuff to my car, which is on the other side of the road, and was looking at them and thinking, oh, I'm going to encounter them, so I need to speed up a bit to get this stuff to my car, so it's not weird that I'm carrying all this stuff, because it's all kind of a weird collection of things. And in speeding up...
Ominous.
No, like... You know, like when they're like, why are you carrying a giant picture of a lighthouse and you have to explain it?
Right, okay, yeah.
So
nothing
sordid.
No, sordid things.
No sordid things. Right. Anyway, in speeding up, I didn't notice the tow bar of one of our neighbours' big trucks and went absolutely flying across our road, spilt everything everywhere, picked it all up really quickly, still seeing these people coming, got to the car, got it in the car, and our neighbour went, that was terrible, wasn't it? And I went, yeah, I just tripped over a tow bar and dropped everything everywhere. And he went, and then carried on walking. And about 10 seconds later, I was like, he was talking about the football.
Yeah, he didn't even see you fall over.
Didn't even see me fall over. But don't worry, I brought it up. And
Yeah.
now can never look at him again, of course.
Well, it's no less than you deserve, I'd say.
It was the punishment that was due to me.
Punishment fits the crime.
Yeah, that's right. So that happened. And the displeasure amongst me, you, I think most listeners carried on. I didn't want to watch last night. I was cross about it. I was cross about having to pay Sky for it. And then...
I always still want to watch it. And when the games come...
obviously, I did
You do
watch
see a
it.
lot of this where people are going, I don't even want to go now. I'm not even going to go on Saturday or something like that. And fair enough. Do whatever you want. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life.
Thanks.
But for me, I'm always like, I still want to go.
I think it's just like a release valve.
You never know, do you?
You can't say like...
You do know.
You can't say, I hate football. I hate Exeter City. Because you don't. You know you don't in your heart.
Yeah. I've said both those things many times.
Fine. This is a lesser thing. It's a release valve. Isn't it? I'm not even going to go. I always refer to in my mind, I think we've talked about it before, the man who tore up his season ticket in front of Brian Gunn on the first day of the season.
Yeah.
And then Norwich sacked him and they went on to have quite a successful season.
Can't do that anymore, of course, because now they just have woke season tickets.
Yes, how dare they?
PC gone mad, not allowed paper.
You can't take
anymore.
Dan, you can't take your PC to the football.
Probably
show
can't. Well, not these days.
No.
It used to be. There was a time where you could take the full, tower PC along.
Yeah.
You set it up on the big bank. And you just
That's right. So you could type onto Exweb
type
about
on
what's
an
happening.
Exweb
Yeah,
at
yeah.
half time on your desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a day, but you're not allowed anymore because of, I don't know, hawkers, diversity and what's it called? Diversity programs, whatever.
Are you blaming her game too that you can't take a tower and a monitor onto the big bank?
They've got to shoulder some of that blame.
Grief. Disclaimer: we support her game too.
You brought them up. I just said it was out of order.
All right, fine.
I don't know who it is. The elites.
Anyway, I can't rip up my ticket anymore, so instead I say, well, I might not even go.
Yeah.
And then what I actually do is pay Sky my money. I don't even do an illegal stream. Anyway, my reward for sticking with this awful football club, as I felt on Saturday night, is actually not a bad performance from some of the team.
We're moving on to Tuesday now.
Well, I think
last
so.
night, yeah.
I think it's time.
Well, I think we kind of have to talk about. There's no point moaning on about the really shit one.
Well, what else can you do?
Without mentioning the slightly less shit one.
Well, I was ready to be all like, that's it, I've had enough.
Tom Carroll just signed for them on a free. I thought he'll come on and then
Yeah.
he'll, but I don't think he even came on in the end.
I don't think so,
Notice
no,
him
no.
if he did.
Put him in the category of Kevin McDonald.
Yeah, for the Knackers Yard.
Indeed.
Yeah, so Ed Turns was back.
Yeah.
This was
Certainly made my
thing-
head turn.
Yeah. I already sort of decided.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, I already decided we wasn't going to do any of those jokes because about Ed turning because it's too obvious.
Whatever.
But yeah, you do you. You know,
I've done it, mate. Don't worry about it.
I mean, yeah. He's back, and
Really good joke.
he looked very good.
Did.
So you had him, Hartridge, and Angus MacDonald.
What it looked was solid, Dan, in a way we haven't seen solidity for some time.
Absolutely, yeah. Different. They're not. Them three aren't really knocking it about at the back between themselves.
No.
Which says to me the Coldwell has buckled under the pressure of general public opinion.
I mean, he's either listened a bit or he's got
Come-
eyes and can see.
Come to the same
Something's
conclusion.
happened.
Yeah, I like to think it's the first one.
I don't think he's tuning in now.
He ain't
And,
listening to this, and if he is, then hello.
Hi, Gary. How are you? Say hi to Perks.
Perks held the door open for me at the pub the other day.
Yeah.
Like not like deliberately, like he didn't know
He
who I was.
didn't think you were down from the Big Bang
Didn't know
Theory.
who I was.
No, right.
Very kind of him. Chivalrous.
Yes.
What was I saying? Ed
Gary.
Turns.
Oh, yeah.
Looked really good.
We're saying that the defence has changed a bit.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is looks different in that team that started last night, and I don't think this is a. I mean, I'm not throwing either of these two fellas under the bus particularly, but there was no Macmillan because he had to come off with a head injury.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
And there was no Niskanen.
No.
I don't know why he wasn't in the squad.
No, I mean...
Maybe he's hungover. Maybe he's... I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe he's been banged up.
Maybe he's not actually that useful a footballer sometimes.
Well, sort of looked a bit better without him, didn't it?
Did.
Both of them too. And I think there's a slight worry there because I'm not sure... Caleb Watt seemed to be on the kind of right wing back kind of thing, and that's not... he's a very enthusiastic man.
Well, he's an energetic, forward-looking footballer.
Yeah, but what I mean is he will happily give it a go, playing right wing back, but I don't think he looked very good there.
No.
Now, we haven't really got many other options for that, other than if Niskanen wasn't going to play, unless you want to stick Pat Jones in there. Now, Pat Jones, I don't know if Coldwell doesn't see him as if he's not quite fit, or if he maybe is a bit better of someone to kind of bring on. I don't think, from what I've seen, that he's much in the way of a defender. So maybe against Reading, a team in very good form, higher up the league, that might have been the right call to not start Pat Jones there. But we're playing Shrewsbury next.
Yes.
And I would think that might be an opportunity to give that a go. Just stick him there. I mean, he's so direct that why not? We've got. I feel like we've really got to go for Shrewsbury at home.
Agreed.
They're in worse form than us. Obviously, are they bottom of the league or certainly
They're direct rivals? Yeah, they're bottom of the league.
Yeah. I think that might be an idea. Who knows? Ed Francis in midfield. He looked really good there, I think. With that, but instead of Woods, and what I'd like to see now is just maybe I'm not quite sure. The defence, just play that defence. Just play that same defence. Don't change anything. Purrington, Hartridge, Ed Turns, and Angus MacDonald. Just play them.
Yeah.
Play them. that's just don't mess with it.
No.
And then the rest of it, maybe it might need the odd tweak here and there. Bear in mind, because I don't think the first half it wasn't quite right, and because we weren't very good in the first half last night.
Well,
and Shrewsbury a different opposition. So
Reading didn't set the world on fire last night, did they?
well, I think that
we got
might
lucky.
have been quite a big part of it, because they are in very good form, but they were absolutely shocking last night. And as much as it was us being better than we have been, it was a combination of us being better than we have been and them being worse than they have been.
Yeah.
So and I think that's how we basically were unfortunate not to have got all 3 points.
Do you know what? It felt like something different, second half in particular. And I hope that the management see this as a positive. I don't think supporters mind. I certainly don't mind a team that sits deep and defends if they're up for rapid counter-attacking. That's a way to play. That's actually quite exciting. Feels like that could play to our strengths. I don't think we've necessarily got all the right players in the right places there at the minute. But second half...
I'm not sure you could ever describe a team with Josh McGuinness in it as rapid.
No, exactly. But we were at least playing direct balls. You're right, Jones, Watts, Mitchell, they're all quick players, Ugane. So maybe that's a slight blueprint going forwards. I don't know. I mean, we had the chances to win it, of course. So first half we weren't really. First half we were just defending, weren't we? I think the statistics were 70%.
Yeah, they had some decent-ish chances, and didn't
really test Whitworth, did they?
Didn't do much with them, no. And yeah, second half, I don't know how we didn't score. I mean, the worst. The best chance and the worst miss was Ryan Trevitt. He had a couple of goes at goal. And I think we've seen him finish well in the past, and I thought he was really good last night. I liked some combinations of him and Ed Francis.
Yeah.
Francis kind of picking the ball up and just playing deliberate, fast, forward passes through... almost to kind of feet, but kind of breaking lines and stuff through to Trevitt. He just didn't have his shooting boots on, and neither did Tony. And on another day,
Sonny Cox also had a chance, didn't he?
Cox did, and and Colwell as well is involved in all this kind of stuff. By the time he's come on, they all showed promise, just didn't quite have the execution. I think, and hopefully that's just a thing of on that night that didn't happen, because we have seen Cox be a better finisher than that. He just doesn't get his feet right. The pass isn't perfect, and Cox can't quite. And it's a very good defensive, like big tackle as well from the Reading player. But
I mean, we can probably put that down to him being rusty, can't we?
I think we can put it all down to the fact that none of them have taken a shot for 6 months.
Yeah,
because
for one reason or another.
Yeah.
What it felt like last night, because after Northampton, I was getting ready to be all... I mean, I was really cross about... We've sent them all to Spain to, bond as a team and to kind of show togetherness. And then that performance Saturday was woeful in terms of... It didn't even look like anyone was trying.
I think if Cox hadn't got that goal, the atmosphere would have been just really kind of really bad.
Yes, agreed.
Especially because it's a risky one.
Yeah.
In bad, it's a standard thing to do. Go and do some warm weather training, but then after the match, Colby was blaming the entire thing on the pitch.
Yeah.
The St James Park surface.
After they've been practicing on a different pitch.
Practicing on plastic pitches in Spain, you clown.
Yeah. Get down.
And also, it's your home pitch. I don't think you can really do it. But you know what it's like.
I know.
You have to. You can't just go we can't possibly play here.
No, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but Devon's full of ploughed fields. Go and have some training there if that's your concern,
Yeah.
Anyway, actually, what we saw last night was more, even when they were just defending in that first half, it felt like, we're back to a place where this is more like Nottingham Forest game, I think. This is a team that...
Well, all I wanted was all I was asking for before the game was a bit of endeavour, really. Yep. And just to give it a go.
Yep.
And because... and this didn't happen, but especially it did happen in the first half, but it didn't in the second at all. What I thought was going to be was we're going to play for 0-0 here, which obviously we did get 0-0, but I thought we'd really play for 0-0, and then when that doesn't work and you're already kind of been boring everyone to death, and the supporters are getting really kind of bit kind of antsy about the whole thing. If you go for a 0-0 and then end up losing it, then, you know, because essentially that means you're not going to have much in the way of attacking, which we have done a lot of that recently.
Yeah.
That looks so bad, and it could have been really bad. We basically got away with the one a bit on Saturday because we managed to get the equaliser.
Yeah.
Credit where it's due. That was 2 changes that Caldwell made that combined to score that goal. So you've got to give the credit. And the same goes for last night, where it's not that we got away with one, it's just that we actually did step up for once.
Yeah.
And, if anything, I worry that if we can't keep up that, if we can't kind of, again, harness that energy, because we didn't after Forest, and if we don't after Reading, we may look. I don't want to look back on that game and go like, if only we just put that one of those chances away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's where we're up to now. We'll talk about what's coming up in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bank Theory podcast. You can email us, bigbankpod@gmail.com if you want to. There's no age limit. You can be young, you can be old. We asked you a couple of weeks ago your closest relation to a City player. Charlie's been in touch. He used to work...
I don't mean you actually are related to them.
Well, no, unless you are.
Yeah.
My dad is Peter Fox, that kind of thing.
God. Is he?
No. I played football against his son, I remember
What
that.
did he do, Fox? Isn't he cancelled now?
Yeah, it's not great. I don't even really want to say it on the radio.
Okay, that bad, eh?
Look it up if you want to, but yeah, he got in quite a lot of trouble. So anyway, on a nicer note, from a good old boy, Charlie used to work with Craig Woodman's son. Didn't know Craig Woodman had a son old enough to work.
Yeah, that seems strange, doesn't it?
Pencarry they worked at. What's that?
That's my friend used to work there.
Yeah.
They sort of sell uniforms, like blank polo shirts and stuff for businesses.
Right.
You know, that you can bulk buy. Like,
so Woodman's got a 25-year-old son, has he? Doesn't seem possible.
how's he 25?
I don't know if I made that up.
You can't have a 25-year-old son because Woodman.
What's Woodman? 35? 40?
40.
Okay. Matt's been in touch.
Craig Woodman's still playing, by the way.
Is he?
He plays for Clumpton.
Does he?
I think so, yeah. And Richard Pears is the manager. Is that right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Get on, Pearsy.
That's what my friend Kev told me. The other
Yeah.
day.
Plausible.
I think is that, unless I've read the
Cully
message
legend. The Pears brothers. Anyway, Matt's been in touch. His mate, who wasn't even from Exeter, was taught to drive by the same person that taught Jake Caprice to drive.
Wow, there you go. I don't know where Jake Caprice is from.
No. Matt says presumably he drove very fast in the outside lane, but somehow to little effect. That's a good one.
Still didn't get the where he was going any quicker.
That's right. He didn't went backwards,
or never
forwards,
got to
reversed.
where he was going.
Yeah. He's also Caprice is also his wife's favourite ever player.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so there you go. And then finally,
not watched many games.
That's what he said, yeah.
Right.
And then Alice has been in touch. This is excellent and quite detailed, so here we go. She's been going to the Big Bank with her dad, standing on the Big Bank with her dad since she was about 7. She's now 29. A year or so after the Man U game, Flacky came to give a talk to the older kids at my primary school. Meanwhile, my little sister, who was about 4, had a cute little performance at the other side of the school that my parents were supposed to go to at the same time. But my dad somehow caught wind of the fact that Flacky was giving a talk. I looked round at the end of the talk, and lo and behold, my dad had escaped from the reception kids' performance and snuck into the back of the classroom to listen to Flacky telling us all about what it was like to play against Giggs and Ronaldo. Steve didn't seem to mind, not sure what the teachers thought. Never mind the teachers, Alice. What about your little sister looking up to see where her dad is?
Yeah, well, she'll understand.
She's crying. No, now Alice doesn't say, but I'd imagine she now supports the Chiefs or something.
No, she'll understand. It was Flacky. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for an audience with Steve Flack.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Fair play to Alice's dad.
Yeah, that's good.
My daughter ran the cake store with Harry Kite for children in need 2 years ago at school.
There you go.
And the suggestion was I was keener to get a photo with him than my daughter was. I can't possibly comment.
I'm sure that probably was the case. What a nice lad Harry Kite is. And Steve Flack, lovely boy.
All good old boys.
Yeah.
So there we go.
And also interesting that we've got a woman listener.
Yes. Welcome, Alice. So we've got one more, and this is also a Woodman-themed one. So this is from Tom, who is the BBC Radio Devon reporter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I pronounced your surname wrong last time. So it's Tom Pucciolo. I hope I've said that right.
Pucciolo. It can't be.
Well, he says so, Dan. So
Oh, right.
I'm going to take his word.
It's just putting a bit of flair on it, is it, to make
No,
it sound
that's
a
his
bit
name.
more exotic?
You wouldn't know. You'd no flair.
I'm all flair. If anything, I'm too much flair, not enough substance.
Yeah, that's more like it, actually. Anyway, Tom says that...
That's giving me Hyacinth Bouquet vibes, that is, I'm afraid.
I'm really sorry, Tom. Tom was working at the Big Sheep in North Devon. Ever been?
I've never been to the Big Sheep. What is it?
It's just a really large, woolly farm creature.
Oh, it's literally just a big sheep.
Oh, no, my mistake. No, it's like Creeley, but farm themed.
Okay, no, not been. No.
Anyway, Tom was selling taster sessions for the Ultimate Adventure Centre. He doesn't tell us what that is, presumably suggesting that the Big Sheep isn't the ultimate adventure. I thought the ultimate adventure was death.
Maybe that's what it was.
Selling him like a...
After you've been to the Big Sheep, there's really no point carrying on with your life. So I think you go and see it, and you go, that sheep is massive.
I'm done.
And then you think, I'm done now.
I'm signing out.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
And then so
it's not so much like...
Tom sort of like guides you with his...
Onto the River Styx.
Yeah, with his bony hand. Into the Ultimate Adventure Centre, where you just instantly pass away.
Yeah. It's more like Nirvana. It's more nicer than like you die. It's like you go on to higher things. You've reached enlightenment by visiting the Big Sheep. Now,
Yeah, maybe.
Craig, come on the old... Anyway, Woodman wasn't interested. So Craig tried to sell him this ultimate adventure.
Right.
A.K.A. death. A.K.A. enlightenment.
I mean, Woodman's still got business to take care of playing for Cully Rangers.
He's got to do a job at right back for Cully Rangers.
So, not today, Satan.
Thanks, Tom. That's excellent. So they're all good. Of course, you can continue to tell us your mad stories about City players.
Yeah, I know there's more out there.
I'd like to hear. So Perks held the door open for Dan. What's the weirdest thing or best thing you've seen a City player doing? So maybe you weren't involved, but you've seen it happening. Don't say the defending against Northampton. Or do if you want. What's the weirdest thing you've seen him doing?
Okay, anything really. Any sort of anecdotes about either current or former Exeter players. Better if you're connected to it.
Sure.
I'd
like to think you've seen it. I don't want like hearsay.
No, yeah. You have to have seen it or been involved in it.
Yeah. Can't be like, I heard someone saw John Richardson.
If you're trying to shepherd Craig Woodman into the afterlife yourself.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
If you just think you saw that happening.
Yeah. Or your mate told you.
Don't worry about emailing it in.
No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So get in touch.
Get in touch. I think I've got a couple as well.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
This segment's getting longer and longer. It's good because the football's getting worse.
Well, no, the football's actually getting better.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My mistake. Drum roll.
It might take me a while.
Oh, okay.
If you just kind of think of something else to say.
I'll think of something else to say. Well, in a minute, we'll talk about the upcoming games. And it's big. It's Shrewsbury. It's Mansfield. It's got necessary points written all over it. I don't think we can go through these two without getting at least one win. I think anything less than 3 points from these two games is...
Yeah, we got to.
Absolutely
we got to get a win here.
It's the definition of a 6-pointer, isn't it?
Oh, this one's... here's one. This is rubbish.
Oh, you've built it up by looking.
My mate's daughter...
Yeah.
Her teacher in year 2 was Matt J's sister.
Miss J.
There you go. That's it, really. I thought
Matt
there was
J's
some other
sister?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you know what? Matt J moving on. You know what they say about absence making the heart grow fonder?
Yeah.
I've got that with Matt J.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Have you got that?
I think loads of people have because they're always talking about getting him back, and like
I got no interest in him playing for us again.
no.
But
although, did you see him score from like basically the halfway line?
very much did see that. Yeah, he's having a good time down at Torquay.
He is, and I'm very pleased about that.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't. I don't know, we're not here to talk about Matt J, but he barely kicked a ball for Colchester.
Yeah.
And now he's down there and he's scoring long ranges.
Brilliant. I share a desk with a bloke who's a Torquay United supporter. I'm doing air quotes at Dan because
You don't go to any games.
No, and I said, brilliant goal, Matt J got you, and he said, was it? I said, yeah, brilliant. He went, who? And at that point, I kicked over his desk.
You know when you think you've got someone to talk to football about, or whatever, and you think, oh, this is all right. You're in maybe a kind of like a kind of boring situation, and then you think, oh, at least I can chat. There's someone I can talk about football with.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, that'll make it a bit better.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
Yep.
And then when you realise that they're not on the
same wavelength.
They're not on the wavelength. Then it's just like, it's really disappointing. I remember being at a family gathering and a cousin of mine's husband said he's a Man United fan. So I was like, oh, this is good. And I started talking about football, whatever. And then he started talking about Marcus Rashton, and I thought, forget it. Forget it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
Rashton.
I'll go and talk to my granny instead.
Yeah, good
she
idea.
knows more about it than you.
Yeah, she loves Rashford. Did you see?
She doesn't actually, because he's black.
Oh dear, the old grandparent problem.
You know.
Yeah. Ooh,
I mean, she is old, very old.
it's not good, is it?
It's not good.
Okay. Talking of mispronunciations, commentator last night was all over the place on the telly.
Yeah, I had a combination. I tried to sync up with the Radio Devon
Very hard to do.
because it's all right if you do some strategic pausing.
Oh, yeah.
You can get it. Pause on one or pause on the other to get it synced up. But I did manage to do that a bit because I obviously prefer that.
Yep.
You got the fellow who emailed in about
Yes.
Big Sheep on there, and the other bloke who was doing it is a friend of mine, so I wanted to listen to that. But I did also have, when I couldn't get that to work, I did have the Sky guy on there as well. And yeah, he kept calling Alex Hartridge Alex Hartage, which is like, isn't a name.
It's not a name.
You must know that Hartridge is a name, Hartage isn't a name. You know,
Guess not.
But then when that fella came on
With the long African surname.
with the really long Nigerian
Yeah.
name, he's nailing that every single time. I'm not even going to attempt it.
No.
But he was nailing that, but he can't pronounce Hartridge.
I guess he's worked. I guess he's been practicing.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because those Sky, they've obviously got this new thing this year with Sky, and Sky have taken on the EFL and everything, but they just have one bloke doing it.
I reckon he's not even there, don't you?
He's probably he's almost certainly not there.
Yeah.
He's just doing it off the same stream we've got.
Yeah.
And it's just one guy, and it's not the same with one guy. You need someone else chatting. That's.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's like if you were just doing this podcast on your own.
Hey, everyone would love that.
They might.
No, I don't think so.
Well, you could give it a go if you want.
No, I'm happy.
We can alternate weeks.
Do you think one day we'll split up like the Beatles and
Yeah, and go solo.
go solo, and I'll do Wings and you'll marry Yoko, and
Yeah.
or I'll marry Yoko and you'll do Wings. I'm not saying one of us is the other. Or I'll narrate Thomas the Tank Engine and you'll do Wings.
Yeah. Or I'll I was going to say something about George Harrison, but I don't
Marry
know.
a supermodel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Get stabbed. Is it in my bed?
Harrison didn't get stabbed,
Yeah, he did in his bed
did he?
by a burglar.
Did he?
Yeah, he survived it.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
When?
Not that long ago.
Well, he'd been dead 10 years.
Well, I
That's
know,
not
yeah,
right.
but I mean, not that. It wasn't like in the 70s.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Put in the same category as when Steve Bruce had that punch up with a burglar and had to be on Match of the Day the next day.
Yeah,
Remember
but
that?
I think Bruce kind of did a bit of a better job of fending him off. Than
Oh, yeah,
Harrison.
Bruce saw him off, but
Yeah.
he got a few pummels to the face.
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
face was
It's one of the
absolutely...
main things we talk about on this podcast.
We've talked about that before?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, anyway. No, we've done about... I don't know how many episodes we've done now, so we're bound to repeat ourselves sometimes. I've only got limited experience.
Yeah, of course. But what we haven't ever done is discussed what is our favourite post-Beatles output.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I'd say, obviously, All Things Must Pass is a great album.
it certainly is.
But is it as good as some of the McCartney solo records? Yeah, maybe, probably.
It's different, isn't
Probably
it?
as an album, it's probably better than anything. Probably better than
McCartney wasn't really an
2, innit?
album kind of person, was he? From then on, ironically, given that he basically invented the modern album.
Well, he did do a lot of them.
Did.
But
Anyway.
and then John Lennon. I mean, some people like John Lennon solo stuff. I mean, I can take it or leave it for the most part. There's obviously some good songs in there, but
Yeah.
he's the one that really kind of, his path is the least appealing to me.
Fair enough.
Post Beatles, I suppose.
Okay.
Some of Paul McCartney's mullet haircuts aside.
Talking of geniuses leaving their, central cultural point of reference, David Wheeler's coming back to City on Saturday, presumably.
Yeah, and Jamal Blackman.
Less a legendary City person.
I like Jamal.
I liked him too.
Yeah, but not quite Wheeler level.
Not quite Wheeler level. So it's Shrewsbury, and it's massive. These are two massive games, isn't it? Absolutely insanely pivotal for the season.
Oh, yeah.
2 home matches.
I think this is. I think off the back of we got 2 points in the last couple of matches.
Yep.
Good. That's good. That's all right.
Yeah.
Given how wretched we've been, they could quite well. The way we've been playing,
Could have got none.
we could have got none from them.
We
We've
were
got
hoping for 3 from Northampton, but we weren't hoping for any from Reading. So you're right.
We've got to 2 points, and I think if we can get 4 from these next 2 matches, then I'll think, okay, good. I'll be really pleased with that. And if we can get 6, I'll be delighted, and I'll consider us kind of like, given how bad everybody else is, and given who these games are against, I think see that as a massive step towards survival.
Yeah, agreed.
We haven't really spoke about. I mean, this would have been a kind of real episode of talking about change and wanting change. With the manager and whatnot, and potentially even, if that was to come about or not, even potentially kind of like some of the board possibly.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances or whatever. And that's not going to happen. We're not going to do that this week. I think we have to see how things turn out at the end of the season. I don't want it to come across that I kind of think like, oh, no, we're all in favour now. It's all kind of like, oh, Gary. Just because we got a 0-0 draw away at Reading.
Indeed.
So it's still very much on my mind, but I think maybe we just this week we've just kind of deferred the chat on it a bit because of the circumstances around that game last night.
Well, these games tomorrow are so massive. No, not tomorrow. Saturday and Tuesday are so massive.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's really kind of worth talking about after that.
I think so. I think so Shrewsbury are bottom on 28. We're 19th, so we're 2 places above the relegation zone. We've got some games in hand over almost everyone. In fact, maybe we're the only team left on 33 games. Anyway, we play Shrewsbury bottom of the league, and then we play Mansfield 2 positions above us. Mansfield are in a terrible run as a Shrewsbury. So Mansfield's league position doesn't quite tell you the whole story because their form's worse than ours.
Yeah.
We've
got both these 2 matches, teams we're playing, Shrewsbury and Mansfield. Yeah, both their form, they were both in awful form, and I know we are as well. But we've at least started to maybe have shown some kind of green shoots,
and it's 2 home games.
Yeah,
and we've had Reading, which is an easy away trip, and then two home matches. Mansfield have got 2 longest trips, us being the
they've got Stevenage away on Saturday, haven't they?
Yeah.
Don't forget though that we're playing at home both those 2 matches, but we can't play on that pitch. Colwell says.
Yes, indeed.
It's no good.
I think 3 points minimum from these 2.
Minimum, yes. Yeah,
minimum,
definitely.
No, I think you're right. I don't think he's getting sacked.
I don't think we should be losing either of these 2 matches, and if we do, I think that'll be real cause for concern, even if we were to win the other.
Agreed. And also, it depends how we approach it. Like, we can be quite different. We're a team of
Well, I mean,
multiple kind of faces, aren't we? And
we've got such a massive, bloated squad, most of whom play in the same position. And Caldwell puts a different random team out every single week.
I know.
And I just think now, that's what I was saying earlier on, that I think I just want that defence to stay the same. The rest of it, I think, probably does need some adjusting, but that's because I don't think that was some of those were the right calls in the first place.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to see some consistency. We haven't had that all season. Every week it's just like another round, and then it seems that we can't go a week without seeing someone playing in some bizarre position they'd never played before in their life.
Yeah.
So you got Watts on right wing or something. You know, it's like I just want to see. I mean, the Purrington thing's an absolute mystery, isn't it? Because
now he's back in.
He looks solid, right? He's
Yeah.
looked out, not unspectacular, but they look decent. Last night when McGuinness went off, or whoever, I think it was McGuinness went off, Purrington's the captain.
Yeah.
And yet,
Couldn't get
a
picked for
month
love
ago,
and money. Yeah.
we were playing Ed Francis in centre defence to disastrous effect, mostly, despite Francis's best efforts.
Yeah.
Well, Purrington's not even on the bench. It's really, that's really weird, and looks even weirder when you see Purrington come back in and perform quite well, because you think sometimes you assume, Ben Purrington's been a good player, he's had a good career. Maybe just recently, it's for whatever reason it's not working, and he's been awful. But I don't know if I believe that now, because he's looked fine.
Yeah, very strange. I mean, honestly, what I'd like to see, obviously, is City avoid relegation. And then I'd like to just say, I've got no idea if this is likely to happen. And I don't know if there's break clauses in contracts or whatever. But say to the manager at the end of the season, if we're able to stay up, thanks very much. You've kept us in League One. That's what we asked you to do. Good luck with the rest of your life. I can't see it happening. I don't see...
We're going to look for a manager.
Yes, I hear. Maloney's gone.
I know. I don't really understand it. I think that I would like that too. I think, if I'm honest, I'd say at that point I would say, yeah, thanks for everything. You've actually done what we asked you to do, which is keep us in the division and whatnot. But I think we want to go in a different direction now. Now our trust board in its current incarnation won't do that. There's absolutely no way that they will do that. But I would like them to.
Again, we've got the weird age-old hope.
Because the other thing is, it's not like he's like we don't know for sure, but there's a lot of kind of there's been a lot of talk that Caldwell's applying for jobs all over the shop, in other places.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's been so loyal to us, we need to stick by him through thick and thin. The guy's trying to leave half the time.
Yeah.
So
if that's true, which sources suggest that it is. And the board then obviously know that. I'd hope that they would take the opportunity. Like, I get why they go for stability. I get why they see it's a gamble to get rid of a manager when we're not in the relegation zone yet, when they've invested in the squad, whatever. At the end of the season, you can end someone's contract without it being topsy-turvy. They could tell him as soon as we're safe.
Yeah.
So that he's got time to go and look for another job or whatever. He'll still get paid off, I'm sure. I'm sure that's how it works. You know, he's not going to be like joining the queue for the dole on the 1st of June, is he? So
no,
that's it. Feels like that's the obvious thing to do if we can stay up. Well, if we can't stay up, then it's really the obvious thing to do.
It won't happen though. But yeah, I think that would be. That's the thing I would like to happen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a big week, so we'll be back after.
Yeah, this time next week
After Mansfield.
It's a big one.
It's massive. Absolute stonker, as they said in the 90s.
Yeah.
You ever say that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. They're probably saying it on TFI Friday, weren't they?
Probably were.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. Hope everyone has a stonker of a week.
Yeah.
My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.